Good morning. It's Thursday, May 2nd. Here's what we're working on this morning. The O.P.P. are now requiring breath tests during every traffic stop.
A man who pleaded guilty to second-degree murder in the death of a Hamilton man has been sentenced to life in prison.
And iconic English rock band Deep Purple has released a brand new single. Good morning. Good morning. I'm Emily Taylor. I'm in for Annette Hom for the next couple of days. Morning, Tim.
Hello. Hello, Emily Taylor.
Hello.
Great to see you. I think now that we're into the second day of May, is this kind of the first day, Brian? Well, we were talking just before we came on air that the sun is rising mighty early.
Yeah, the sun is getting up earlier and earlier.
Earlier.
Yeah.
And we're going to see that sun today.
Oh, are we ever?
Yeah.
Like yesterday. Yeah, beautiful sun.
Oh,
and at least this morning we can see.
Yeah.
As opposed to what we had yesterday morning with all that fog. We couldn't see the sun, but we got it later on. The fog dissipated, and we will have a temperature much like yesterday. Actually, we got to 23.1 yesterday, and we should hit 23 again today in the sunshine, a mainly sunny sky. Sun is coming up in about 10 minutes from now or so. So an early riser now this time of year. So it looks pretty good for today. Tomorrow again some sun, but there's a chance of a shower later in the day tomorrow and just a touch cooler, but still a nice day into May. We'll talk about that coming up. Looking at traffic this morning, see if anything's going on. As I said, at least we can see traffic this morning. Here's the 403 on Waterdown Road. Nothing happening right there. Looks pretty good. Sunglasses if you're heading into the sun this morning. Let's look at some MTO traffic cameras. Centennial Parkway, pretty light volume there. Top of the Skyway. Again, nothing going on. Oh, what happened to that camera? I wonder. And here's the QEW at the Ford plant. That's doing okay so far. We'll look at weather and traffic, of course, in detail coming up. Right now, the news.
All right, thanks so much, Brian. Ontario Provincial Police are ramping up their approach to reducing impaired driving on roads and what they're calling their toughest measures yet. Simone Gavaris joins us from the Info Center in Grimsby with more. Good morning, Simone.
Hi, good morning, Emily. Well, the O.P.P. say that drivers will now have to provide a breath test at every traffic stop, even if there's no suspicion that the driver has been drinking. Now, this is being enforced under the Canadian law called the Mandatory Alcohol Screening Law, which came into effect in 2018. Now, in a media release yesterday, O.P.P. say impaired driving collisions and charges are up 30% compared to the last 5 years. The GTHA jurisdiction saw the highest increase in impaired driving crashes among all O.P.P. regions. And O.P.P. say they expect this trend to continue into the spring. Now, recent data from O.P.P. also shows that 385 people were killed in impaired driving related crashes between 2018 and 2023. And drivers can face a number of hefty penalties for impaired driving, including steep fines, license suspensions, as well as jail time. Now, the O.P.P. say that those who don't comply with this breath test demand could face charges. We'll be speaking to drivers this morning to get their reaction on these new enhanced measures. But for now, Tim, I'll send things back to you.
Okay, thank you, Simone. Brantford woman who was recently convicted on multiple charges related to faking pregnancies and seeking the assistance of doulas is facing new and similar allegations in Hamilton. Less than 6 months after pleading guilty to 21 charges and being sentenced in Brantford, Hamilton police say 25-year-old Caitlin Braun has been arrested once again and is facing multiple new charges. According to police, the alleged crimes happened between April 17th and 18th. Braun is accused of falsely soliciting support related to pregnancy from unsuspected victims. In an email to CHCH News, Braun's lawyer declined to comment on these new charges. Braun was first arrested and charged by Brantford police in March of last year for offenses that happened between June 2022 and February of 2023. She was sentenced to 2 years house arrest in February of this year. Now, there were serious concerns brought forward during her recent sentencing process that Braun may reoffend. None of the new allegations have been proven in court.
A man who pleaded guilty to second-degree murder for Tommy Hong's brutal torture and death was sentenced to life in prison and no parole for 16 years. 30-year-old Jason Long apologized to the family and referred to his own extensive criminal record when he spoke in court yesterday. Long pleaded guilty to the torture death of Hong in an East Hamilton apartment in 2021. 3 others pleaded guilty to manslaughter. Crown prosecutor Lisa Ellens told the court Hong was lured to the apartment for a robbery, and Long beat him with a metal pipe. Hong had numerous injuries, including a slashed throat, a fractured skull, stab wounds, and bite marks. Justice Paul Sweeney said he was the victim of unspeakable violence. The 3 who pleaded guilty to manslaughter have yet to be sentenced.
People living in a neighborhood in Hamilton's north end, they're concerned after a woman's cat was shot by a crossbow. So the cat had been missing for 4 days, and when it was located, a vet discovered this disturbing truth, that a dart from a crossbow caused the injury. And the cat was not the only victim. The owner says last week her dog's trainer found a dead squirrel in her backyard and what appeared to be a crossbow-style bolt sticking out of it. Now, the cat owner and others in the area say they're concerned about someone in their neighborhood hunting down animals, and they're afraid this person's action could escalate. Hamilton police told us they received a report involving an arrow in relation to one animal that they are looking into.
2 Halton schools were put into lockdown yesterday after a squirt gun was mistaken for a pistol. Burlington Catholic Schools, Notre Dame Secondary, and St. Timothy's Elementary were placed in a hold and secure around 11:20 a.m. Halton police say they received a report of a firearm in a nearby parking lot, but it turned out to be a water gun. No one was injured and the lockdown was lifted. The Liberal member of Parliament for Oakville North Burlington says she will not be seeking re-election. In a letter shared online, Pam Demoff blames the hyper-partisan nature of politics and says she experienced misogyny as well as threats to her life. She says those threats have led to her to sometimes fear going out in public and believes it's no longer a sustainable or healthy way for her to live. Demoff has represented her riding since 2015.
In the sports line. And can the Maple Leafs do it again? It's game night in Toronto for the Blue and White as they try and extend their series with the Boston Bruins to a 7th and deciding game. This after their thrilling overtime win back on Tuesday in Beantown as Matthew Nye scored the OT winner right there. 2-1 in Game 5 to push things back to the Big Smoke for Game 6 tonight. Home ice, though, has not been kind for the Leafs. They're coming in having lost 6 straight playoff home games, including a brutal effort last Saturday night against the Bruins. There is pressure on Boston, too, though, because they blew a 3-1 series lead last playoffs to Florida. And we'll want to end it tonight. No word if Austin Matthews will be back in the lineup after missing Game 5 with what the team is calling an illness. Puck drop also a little bit later. Not good for this guy. Doesn't happen until after 8 o'clock.
Spooner, a chance, a breakaway for Spooner. Here she comes, looking for 18, and she gets it.
Oh, what a move. Another Toronto team cruising right now into the playoffs. Natalie Spooner with that great move. Scored her league-leading 17th and 18th goal right there of the season as PWHL Toronto locked up top spot in the league with a 4-1 win over Minnesota. So the first place finish means Toronto is able to choose between the 3rd and 4th team as their first opponent when the playoffs start next Wednesday. 1 game left Sunday against Ottawa before the first ever PWHL playoffs get going.
Bouchard to the near side. McDavid behind the net. Try side. And he scores!
We have our first Canadian squad into the second round of the NHL playoffs as the Edmonton Oilers, thanks to Leon Draisaitl's 2 goals and Connor McDavid, who had assists on both of them, and 11 in the 5 games it took for the Oilers to eliminate the LA Kings for a 3rd straight season. 4-3 was the final in this one. So they now await the winner of the Vancouver-Nashville series with the Canucks up 3-2. Other game last night had Dallas winning a 3rd straight over Vegas 3-2. They're a game away from ousting the defending champs.
Borges looks towards the middle. Patty Bonga plays it back. Hamilton. Borges plays it back to Schlund. Yeah, off the bar and in.
On the pitch in the donut box last night, so Ford had their way with York United once again, this time not during CPL play. Last night was a match in the Canadian Championships. The Hammers easily moved on to the quarterfinals. David Schwader had a goal. 2 goals by Jordan Hamilton was all they needed in the 3-1 win. So up next is a date with FC Montreal in the 2-legged quarterfinals. But first is their school day game against Halifax coming up this Tuesday.
Because you're trying to get over it. Breaking ball hit to right field. Springer going back towards the corner. And that ball hits the foul pole. It's out of here.
So that put an end to any comeback for the Blue Jays yesterday as they wrapped up their series with Kansas City at the Dome. Michael Massey's 3-run homer off of Nate Pearson made it 6-1 in the 8th. And the way the Jays offense is playing, no way they can score that many runs. They have one of the worst offenses in the league right now. So they lose 6-1, lose a 3rd straight series, sit at 15-17 on the year. And disappointment for me because I was in the building yesterday. Actually, Brian, I was hoping that the Dome was open yesterday, but I guess it's still a little bit too early for them.
Oh, that's too bad.
Yeah.
Royals rely upon 2 3-run.
Yeah, should have sunshine again today, like yesterday. So hopefully it'll be open soon. But looking what we have right now, 6:10. That is sunrise. So the sun is up already here this morning, and that's going to warm things up today. We'll talk about that in a sec. Looking at the 403 and Waterdown Road, no problems right there. MTO traffic cameras. There's the sunshine just cresting the horizon there. QEW at Welland, nothing to see going through St. Catharines. Getting a little busier at Centennial Parkway. Nothing at the 403 around Brant. Ford plant looks good, and we'll check one more just around Etobicoke Creek to the 427 in the distance. Not a lot to see so far today. Temperature, we've just fallen a degree, which happens just around sunrise. Temperature right now is 10. It was 11 last hour. The winds are light. Relative humidity has come down, thankfully, from yesterday morning when it was 100% and we could see it. But right now we have a mainly cloudy sky. For school today, it's going to be a mainly sunny sky. And look at that temperature pop up to 23 degrees. Very high UV index for the day today and light winds. So a really lovely May day. That ridge of high pressure is going to give us the sun today. Clear skies tonight. Sun to start the day tomorrow. And then there's a chance of a shower. It's a slim chance later in the afternoon as we get into chance of showers for the weekend. So let's check the temperatures today. Look at these. 22 for Niagara. 22, 23 this end of the lake, a little cooler, 21, 22 as you head around Burlington, Mississauga, Toronto. Tonight, temperatures 8, 9, and 10 degrees. So again, above seasonal for an overnight low, and the sky stays clear thanks to that ridge of high pressure. Tomorrow, we'll get the sun in the morning. And for Niagara at 22, sun and clouds. The rest of us could get a shower later in the day. It's a slim chance, only about 40%. Otherwise, temperatures 20, well, 18 for Burlington, a little bit cooler. But stepping out the door, second morning of May, we're looking at a mainly cloudy sky. Temperature right now 10. Long range coming up. Emily, Tim.
Thanks so much, Brian. We have Emily Vukovic here as well, who I'm sure is doing a happy dance by that sunshine. There it is.
Why do I live in Burlington? Like the coldest spot. Everyone else is like 20, 22. Ooh. Burlington, 5. You know, like might as well be.
Because there's always a cloud over it because you live there.
Wow.
That was harsh. That was, yeah.
That's it for me, everybody.
That's the mic drop. He is gone.
Tim, off the air, okay. But on the air, we have to pretend.
Can I come back?
I don't know. That's Emily's call.
You just set me up there. It's just an easy one. Come on.
Don't worry, Emily Taylor. I'll get him back. I always do.
Yeah, Emily, you can come sit with me on the desk.
Yeah. Sibling love. It's the best. Tell that to my children. Yeah. Okay, coming up on Chit Chat, we're talking about Deep Purple, and I can't get Smoke on the Water out of my head.
Yeah.
All morning long I've been singing it. And we're also talking about Star Trek. Are you guys Trekkies?
No, I feel like producer Don's being quite upset with all of us shaking our heads there, but
I don't think he'll be surprised.
Yeah.
But we're going to talk about the little tiny model that made the show possible coming up.
Okay, we'll see you at the couch in a little bit.
I'll be there.
Coming up after the break.
All right, Canada's supply lines may be hit by another major strike, while public service workers are rallying against another day at the office. Business News is next. Welcome back, 6:15 on your Thursday. Let's take a look at the markets. The Canadian dollar is up 11 basis points this morning. It's at 72.89 cents U.S. Gold fell 40 cents, while crude gained 62 cents. It's at $79.62 a barrel. In midday European trading, markets are up in London and Frankfurt and down in Paris.
Off to Asia we go. Markets are down in Tokyo, up in Hong Kong, and closed in Shanghai for the rest of the week. What about North American markets on Wednesday? Slight gains on Bay Street, some gains for the Dow Jones on Wall Street, losses for the Nasdaq. Let's see how they do. And the markets open at 9:30 this morning on this May the 2nd.
About 9,300 workers at Canada's two biggest railways have almost unanimously voted in favor of going on strike. CN Rail and the Canadian Pacific Kansas City Limited workers could walk off the job in 3 weeks if they can't reach new deals with the railways. The president of Teamsters Canada Rail Conference is accusing both companies of trying to remove rest provisions and put workers at risk. CPKC said the two deal options it presented provide major benefits to workers and compromise nothing on safety. If a strike does go forward on May 22nd, it will have a big impact on North American supply chains.
So Ontario will soon allow high school students interested in a career in the trades to spend 80% of their time on training and 20% on academics. So starting in September of next year, 2025, students in grades 11 and 12 will be able to participate in the FAST program, or Focused Accelerated Skills Training. They'll be able to spend most of their time in a trades co-op placement. Education Minister Stephen Lecce says this offers students more flexibility, a faster route to a well-paying job, and will help solve the labor shortage problem.
This Ontario Youth Apprenticeship FAST program for students will have access to apprenticeship training in all 144 trades, from construction, auto body repair, plumbing, you name it, we're doing it. And to honor these high-skilled students, the OYAP FAST graduates will receive a new seal of distinction on their high school diploma by the Ministry of Education to signify the successful completion, to recognize their dedication, and to help elevate the importance of the skilled trades credential in this province.
So students will still be required to complete the mandatory English and math credits in grade 11 and math also in grade 12.
Canada's public service unions are promising to fight a new mandate to have employees back in the office at least 3 days a week. The president of the Canadian Association of Professional Employees says the shocking decision was made without consultation and that the union will be fighting it. Public servants started working remotely during the COVID-19 pandemic before new rules in March of 2023 ordered them to return to the office at least 2 days a week. The Treasury Board says their new mandate is meant to bring fairness and consistency to how the hybrid work model is applied. It goes into effect September 9th.
Let's go stateside because the U.S. Centers for Disease Control is warning about some tainted walnuts in a couple states. The organization said on Tuesday that a dozen people in California and Washington state have been sickened after eating a batch of organic walnuts. 7 people became so ill that they were admitted to the hospital. The walnuts were produced at Gibson Farms in California. The Food and Drug Administration says the company voluntarily recalled its organic light halves and pieces shelled walnuts last week. While people in only 2 states have become ill, the recalled walnuts also sold in 17 states, mostly in the Midwest and West.
The bird flu threat may be easing for U.S. dairy products. The Food and Drug Administration recently tested nearly 300 products from grocery stores and said no active strain of the virus was detected. In an earlier test, roughly 20% had remnants of the H5N1 virus. FDA officials are also looking at samples of raw and cooked ground beef. This comes following a bird flu outbreak, which has affected dozens of dairy cows in 9 states. The majority of the infected cattle were in Texas, and the other states include Kansas, Idaho, Ohio, and Colorado.
Well, what a great start to the morning. You might be getting up a little bit earlier because the sun is getting up earlier and might be waking you up. So if you are and you don't normally watch it this time, welcome. Hello.
Hello.
So glad you're here. You're going to like the day today. Brian will give you the good details on that. What do we have for the weekend forecast? Stick around. It's right after this.
6:23 is the time on this sunny Thursday morning. Look at this, QEW Mountain. The sun's been up for a while. If you're just getting up, the sun's beat you. QEW Mountain looks good right there through St. Catharines. Oh, what did that camera go? Here's Appleby Line. So we got this camera back, but the other one disappeared. Okay. Nothing to see in traffic. It looks good all the way around the Horseshoe. That's the QEW in Sheraton. Here's the 403 west of Winston Churchill. All doing fine so far this morning. So not a lot happening, except our temperature has just come down by a degree. We were 11. We're now sitting at 10. 10 Hamilton, Grimsby, 11 Mississauga. Bit better for Toronto, sitting at 12. Seasonals, always check those. Now 16 for a daytime high, 5 for an overnight low. So we're mild to start today, and we are going to be actually a warm day today. Those are our sun times and our records for today. We are going to see the sun. So for school today, it should be 18 by the first bell and some sun, lots of sun after school, and about 23. That is the forecast high for the day today. 23 degrees in the sun, 9 and clear overnight. Tomorrow we'll start off with sun, then a bit of cloud cover with chance of a shower later. Temperature starts to come down about 20. The weekend, come on, we got to work on this. Cloudy skies, chance of showers both days, 17 and 20. And then, of course, Monday comes along, back to some sunshine. Temperature climbs to 21 and 20 for Tuesday. That's your forecast. Emily, Tim.
All right, thanks, Brian. Local dumps. Listen up to this. This is a fascinating thing that they're doing down under in Australia, because a university there has developed a process that could turn gas from landfills into fuel for planes.
The University of Sydney researchers said they used non-thermal plasma technology to convert methane and carbon dioxide into long-chain hydrocarbons, which are the basic building blocks of unrefined fuel. Aviation accounts for an estimated 2 to 3% of global carbon emissions. Sustainable aviation fuel will help reduce those emissions, but it is costly and amounts to less than 1% of total global jet fuel.
Okay, so I understand that, but like just that thinking outside the box that we're taught to do just as kids, and like move that along into the current society is fascinating. What people can come up with, and if it can better us in any way, it is worthwhile. Because I know at this point maybe it's only, what is it, 1% of the global fuel, but maybe, I don't know, they find something else if they're able to crack into that. Okay, 1/2 hour down. Lots more to come on this Thursday morning, including plenty of sunshine. It's a banner day.
Goodness, waiting for that sunshine.
Yeah, beautiful. Emily Taylor in for Annette Hom today. We'll see you right after the break.